Okay, hello. As I have said in previous videos, a vote for the idiot felon is a stupid vote and a nail in the coffin of our country. In this video, you see the straightforward truth about the consequences of so many people being duped by a lying, cheating felon that only wants to be a dictator, and some think it may not affect them, but it very well may. Watch this video.
Welcome to the fight, Warrior. I appreciate you being here. One of the things that has been all the hand-wringing, excuses, and trying to find a reason, and the finger-pointing that's taken place after the election, after Kamala Harris's loss on Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. A lot of people are asking themselves and confused and perplexed about how white people ruined it for everybody. My shitty generation, Generation X, ruined it for everybody. But also, some blame does need to fall at the feet of the larger percentage of black males and the unwieldy percentage of Latino males who voted for Donald Trump.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. In this case, stupidity goes all across, is spread all the way around. No, any race, creed, or color, or sex.
We're thinking, it's going to be somebody else who gets hurt. If I was a Trump voter, he's going to take care of me.
Trump doesn't give a shit about
We witnessed
anybody.
this in 2016 when Donald Trump's immigration policies and the deportations that took place. Trump voters, that their families were affected. Their family members. I remember specifically a case, I don't remember where the state, I believe it was Texas, a woman who voted for Donald Trump and then her husband was deported back to Mexico. And she's like, oh, what? I didn't think it would be me. I didn't think I would be hurt. It's not always going to be immigration that the pain comes in the way of. The economy is going to be absolutely devastated if Donald Trump follows through with his tariff plan.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Now, hypothetically speaking, once this tariff plan goes through, then, okay, China, for example, he says he's going to add tariffs to things coming from China. China, in turn, is going to raise their prices because they're not going to be willing to foot the bill. And the price is going to be paid by the American public who is buying those imported items from China.
Unemployment is going to... Remember this. Remember where the numbers are right now. Unemployment, inflation. Keep it bookmarked. Put it somewhere on your browser. Write it down and put it in your notes app on your phone.
Speaking of that, under this video, there is a link, a ChatGPT link, that says where inflation and unemployment is as of 7 November 2024. After you watch this video, click on that link. It will take you to that info.
Because when Donald Trump takes office, it's game over. I mean, I laugh because it's so just, it's either that or cry. Donald Trump is a stupid person.
He's stupid, arrogant, and hard-headed.
His main focus to get back into office was to extricate himself from...
He's stupid, arrogant, and hard-headed, and has no business being in the White House at all. But the stupid people who voted him in office don't give a fuck about the country. They just care about their own little microscopic piece that they think they believe that they won't be hurt or affected by him.
Initial problems. It wasn't the economy. He doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't give a shit about your job. He doesn't give a shit about the betterment of your life or your family's life. There's a lot of people who are going to be harmed. People who voted for Donald Trump. I've got a slew of dipshits I went to high school with who won't make six figures in the next 2 years, who act like their financial situation is going to be so much greatly improved. Elon Musk's financial situation is going to be greatly improved. Not some hillbilly from northern Idaho. You will bear the brunt of the tax cuts that are to come for the wealthy, for the upper middle class and above. I'm going to read a little bit from this Atlantic piece from Tom Nichols, the title of which is "Trump Voters Got What They Wanted. Those who expect that Donald Trump will hurt others and not them are likely to be unpleasantly surprised."
They're stupid.
And so it came. This, by the way, I'm only going to read 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe five paragraphs or so from this much longer piece. I'll link it below. I would suggest you read it. I would suggest you consume as much. The fact that you're here means that you do have a stomach for this stuff and you're emotionally available to it. So consume as much as you can to inform yourself about how we move forward and the fight that is ahead of us. Here it is. "And so it came to pass last night, a gaggle of millionaires and billionaires grinned and applauded for Trump. They were part of an alliance with the very people another Trump term would hurt, the young, minorities, and working families among them. Trump, as he has shown repeatedly over the years, couldn't care less about any of these groups. He ran for office to seize control of the apparatus of government and to evade judicial accountability for his previous actions as president. Once he is safe, he will embark on the other project he seems to truly care about, the destruction of the rule of law and any other impediments to enlarging his power. Last," and this is a person, not some indication of time, "last, as Jonathan Last, the editor of the Bulwark, worries that we might now be in a transition to authoritarianism of the kind Russia went through in the 1990s. But I, Tom Nichols, I visited Russia often in those days, and much of the Russian democratic implosion was driven by genuinely brutal economic conditions and the rapid collapse of basic public services. Americans have done this to themselves during a time of peace, prosperity, and astonishingly high living standards. An affluent society that thinks it is living in a hellscape is ripe for gulling by dictators who are willing to play along with such delusions. The bright spot in all this is that Trump," and I don't find this to be a bright spot, I think that was an odd choice of words from Tom Nichols, but we'll deal with the column as written. "The bright spot in all this is that Trump and his coterie must now govern. The last time around, Trump was surrounded by a small group of moderately competent."
Now that is not a bright spot in my book, that Trump and his group must now govern, because he doesn't know shit about governing. All he knows is he wants people to do exactly what he tells them to do, and that's how he's managed to go into bankruptcy so many times by doing stupid things.
People, and these adults basically put baby bumpers and pool noodles on all the sharp edges of government. This time, Trump will rule with greater power but fewer excuses, and he and his voters will have to own the messes and outrages he is already planning to create. Those voters expect that Trump will hurt others and not them. They will likely be unpleasantly surprised, much as they were in Trump's first term. He was, after all, voted out of office for a reason. For the moment, some number of them have memory holed that experience and are pretending that his vicious attacks on other Americans are just so much hot air. Trump, final paragraph here, Trump, unfortunately, means most of what he says. In this election, he has triggered the unfocused ire and unfounded grievances of millions of voters. Soon, we will learn whether he can still trigger their decency, if there is any to be found. That's another thing I wholeheartedly disagree with. Soon we will learn whether he can still trigger their decency. He can still trigger their decency. Still? When has he ever triggered MAGA's decency? Tom Nichols, if there is any to be found. There is none to be found. So if there is a bright spot from the angry individual that is currently running my brain, there will be pain on the part of these idiots who voted for Donald Trump.
I'm glad you used that phrase, idiots who voted for Donald Trump, because there comes a time, I mean, we've all had arguments about we've all had disagreements about different presidents and Republicans versus Democrats, Democrats versus Republicans. But very few people are willing to recognize that they contributed to a particular situation. And by voting for this fool, Donald Trump, that was a stupid vote. And like I said, a nail in the coffin of the country.
Little schadenfreude might be just what ailed you, to fix what ailed you. I'd love to know what you think. Where are you? You're obviously here, so you're in for the fight. That's fine. But where are you emotionally? Take care of yourself. Make sure you're taking breaks. Make sure.
Okay, as he mentioned earlier in this video, I performed a quick check a couple of days ago on the country's unemployment rate and inflation as of 7 November. Maybe the facts can penetrate the skulls of the Trump idiots. That link is in ChatGTP. That link to ChatGTP is in my comments area under this video. Compare that data with the data presented in 4 years. I have no doubt that the numbers will be much worse 4 years from now. Thank you for watching.